Okay, so this video is for somebody. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel mad. It's okay to feel upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be angry. It's all right. We just have to learn emotional intelligence. You know what I'm saying? You know what that means? Like, you have to be able to control your emotions. You have to be able to evaluate why you feel this way. And once you evaluate why you feel a certain way, a particular way, then you can do what you need to do to adjust your mood to the mood that you desire. You know what I'm saying? And but it's okay to have emotions. One of the main issues with people today is that they lack empathy and lack emotions, and that's a psychopath or a sociopath. And people are a covert narcissist or a narcissist. They don't care about people's emotions. They can, if you are sad and depressed and they don't care about it, and or you get pulled over and you got a ticket by the police, or they pulled you over for no reason, and then you tell your friend, oh, I got pulled over today, and they like, oh, well, you know how it be, you know how that goes sometimes. Like, people just do not show any regard for your experience, and that you need to remove yourself from around people like that. I remember I was in a situation. I was with one of my ex-boyfriends, and we were at a park, and we were sitting in the park in the car, and the police pulled up and started harassing us. And then they asked me my name. I had a warrant out for my arrest, and they locked me up. And he was just like happy that he wasn't getting locked up, and he just was gloating. Like, he didn't show any care that I was getting locked up and harassed. And we were just sitting in the car, like, you know how police do. They pull up and they're like, what are you all sitting in the car for? Like this is illegal. I didn't know it was a crime to sit in a car. You're like, well, why you all are not out of the car? Because some people go to the park and just sit in their car. I just rode past this park and I seen this man sitting in the car. This what reminded me of that police will find any little reason to bother you. You standing out, you waiting for a bus stop, waiting for a bus, and they want to come up and, what's your name? Can I see your ID identification? And it's like, what am I doing wrong to make you ask me for my ID? And but the thing is about that is, like, what if a person is around you in your life and you're telling them how you feel and they don't care about it? That's called emotional abuse. It's low-key emotional abuse, because as a child, if you have a stomach ache or you not feeling well, or somebody's bullying you at school and you tell your parents and they don't show any concern about it, that's low-key emotional abuse. It's because you're not acknowledging my concern. You're not addressing my situation. You're disregarding my feelings and my emotions, and that's disrespectful, and it's emotional abuse. So we have to be very clear and vigilant on the sneaky ways that people blatantly or intentionally emotionally abuse you by disregarding your concerns. And if you have an issue at work or in a relationship or whatever, and you have an issue and you bringing it up and letting the person know that what's going on, and they don't care, or if you telling somebody about something that happened at work, and you telling your boyfriend, you telling your girlfriend what happened, and they say, oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear. I understand you might not want to hear what's going on in my job. Nobody wants to come home and bring work home. But if a person doesn't get this, have someone to talk to, well, just let me know that I'm talking to the wrong person. That's what I used to tell myself. I'm like, maybe I'm talking to the wrong person, because I need to talk to somebody that actually is going to give me feedback and inspiration and lift me up, because clearly this is bothering me. And that's why people blow up and spaz out and, do things in the heat of the moment, because they have nobody to talk to, when it could have been avoided if you would have just sat down and listened to what this person had to say. So that's a problem for me, because, like, was talking to this guy on the phone, and I used to tell him about what was going on at work and everything. And he was like, he listened to me, but it was like, you could tell he wasn't really paying attention. It's a difference. Like, people can act like they just listen to you, but they hear you, but they're not listening to you. And that's a problem for me. It's a problem for me when you hear what I'm saying, but you're not listening to what I'm actually saying. And I noticed that with a lot of people that leave comments on my videos. They hear me, but they're not listening. They're not paying attention to the message that I'm making. Because some people understand the message, and some people, they hear what they want to hear. So that's what that guy in my last, when I was talking to him, met him online. I used to talk to him on the phone. I would tell him about my job experience and stuff, what I was experiencing at work and with a coworker, and he would hear me, but he was just more concerned about himself. He was more concerned about, he was not, he just was basically like, oh yeah, I'm tired of hearing that. Yeah, he needs to, just not really lacking compassion, just acting like they care, but they really don't care. It really isn't sincere. And I know when a person is being sincere versus a person that's being condescending and really ignoring what you're talking about. So yeah, it's a difference. So when a person, you tell a person, oh, my plane was delayed, or I lost my baggage, or my flight was canceled, or something like that. If this is supposed to be your friend or a loved one, and you telling them your dilemmas, now I understand a random stranger may not care about what you have going on, but if this is supposed to be a significant person in your life, like a friend or family member, and you're telling them that your brother died, your father passed away, and they don't show any concern, or they just dismiss it or ignore your emotions, that's emotional abuse. Because you're neglecting you're not acknowledging my feelings. And so I have to internalize my emotions, and I'm not able to speak on it. So all that's going to do is store trauma in my body, mind, and soul, because I'm not able to verbalize how I feel. And that's how a lot of children feel. And that's why people grow up to be psychopaths and sociopaths, because they're not able to verbalize how they feel. Their parents and family members never acknowledge their voice and never let them express themselves. And so they were ignored and neglected and abandoned. And then they carried on to adulthood, and they never had someone to actually communicate with them effectively. And I made a quote that through effective communication, it could solve numerous problems. With thorough, effective communication, you could eliminate a lot of bad situations. I believe that's why the words are spells, and words can change things. Prayer changes things. So if a person is not able to verbalize and get their emotions across and express themselves, then it's going to be a hindrance. Maybe their throat chakra is blocked, and they're not able to, they're storing all of this past issues in their body, where they were not heard, and they were not able to express themselves freely about the things they experienced. And then every time they meet somebody, they're telling them what's going on in their life. A person still doesn't acknowledge it. People still don't even address it. So it's like this happened as a child. So now I'm meeting people in real life that still don't care about what I have to say. They still only worried about themselves. They still only care about how they feel, and they don't care about how you are feeling emotionally. All they worried about is what they can get out of you. All they worry about is having sex with you. All they worry about is getting money from you. All they worry about is what can you do for them. And you're like, but when I need somebody to talk to, I'm not just trying to get money out of this person, or trying to use them for sex or whatever, to buy me something to drink, or buy me food, or pay some bills with me. I just want a person that genuinely actually cares about my emotional health and my emotional well-being. and who actually is going to listen to what I have to say, and not just hear me, but actually listen to me and understand where I'm coming from, and not just dismiss it and ignore what I'm talking about. It's horrible for a person to your ignore your issues and not address your concerns, because all that does is build up resentment and make you annoyed and upset, and you're just like, maybe I just need to remove myself from this situation, because you can't change a person per se. All you can do is change the person that you're talking to. All you can do is remove yourself from that situation. If you feel like every time you have a concern and you trying to address it, it's like it's falling on deaf ears, and nobody is acknowledging your mental health, or you being overworked, or you're stressed out, or you're depressed, and you have nobody to talk to. And every time you talk to somebody, they just write it off as you'll be all right. It ain't that big. It is not that big of a deal. Oh, you tripping, man. It ain't that serious. Like, you too emotional. You be worried about the wrong stuff. Oh, you a crybaby. Oh, that's not nothing to trip off of. You'll be all right. Like, they people just love to just be like, oh, don't worry about that. Oh, don't pay no mind to that. Don't worry about that. Like, don't worry about being verbally abused. Don't worry about being emotionally abused. Don't worry about not being able to voice your concerns. Don't worry about being able to voice your opinion. Don't worry about not being acknowledged or being respected or understood. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? That's a problem for me. That's abuse. Don't tell me to sweep stuff under the rug. Don't don't normalize sweeping stuff under the rug and not acknowledging people's concerns, because that's why if just because you don't acknowledge it and you ignore it and sweep it under the rug, it is not going that does not it's not going to make it go away. And this message to somebody: just because a person does not acknowledge it, if a person does not acknowledge that if you're in a relationship and they're not returning your phone calls and they should be texting you back and they're not acknowledging this, then you just gonna have to do what you have to do. Like, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse and stress myself out and worry about it and all of this and that. I'm just gonna have to. We can do this one or two ways. Either I'm just gonna just not get upset about it, or I'm gonna just stop taking the initiative to be the one reaching out to you, because you know what I'm saying. If you don't acknowledge my value and my worth, then I'm just gonna remove myself out of the equation, because if a person does not acknowledge your emotions and does not validate your feelings and how you feel about whatever it may be, you need to remove yourself out of the situation. I don't care who it is, because that's abuse. That's emotional abuse. And we have to use emotional intelligence. And if I can acknowledge your emotions and consider your feelings, consider how you feel and respect you and show you respect and acknowledge what you have to say, then you should be able to acknowledge what I have to say and respect my feelings. That's the least you could do. That's the very least you could do, is acknowledge my point of view. Acknowledge, because everybody doesn't think the same. Everybody is different. So if I was, that's how I was raised too. It's like, it's like people, like parents don't validate your feelings and your emotions. They turn it to an argument. They don't never want to acknowledge how you felt or how you're from your point of view, because they may see it as, oh, I did this for your best interest or whatever. And you like, well, you may have done it for my best interest or whatever the case may be, but it affected me in this way. It made me feel like you didn't care about how I felt. You made me feel like, you was only worried about yourself. And you made a choice based on your own selfish reasons or whatever the case may be. And it's like, well, if you instill that in your child at an early age, is basically like you don't really consider their feelings and their emotions or their point of view. And then so now it's like I'm ignored. So like I don't have a voice. Like I really can't speak up for myself, because every time I speak up for myself, I'm not acknowledged, and my point of view is not valid. And that's a problem. That's a very big problem for me. That's why I, I'm saying, it may not change the situation, but at least acknowledge your child's or your children or your grandchild's concerns. You don't have to just say, be cold hearted and dismiss it. You have to acknowledge what a person, how their point of view. We have to acknowledge a person's point of view and stop just being ignorant and dismissing it and saying, and you know what I'm saying? Because that's so annoying. And I'm in this video. Hopefully you all gather what I'm putting down, and hopefully someone resonate with this. If you do, please leave a comment, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. And remember to always keep the Most High first, and be blessed. Bye.